Audiovisual journalism, a journey through time. Audiovisual journalism, encompassing radio, television, and digital platforms, has evolved tremendously, shaping how we experience news and storytelling. Here's a structured look at its history, development, and where it stands today. Early roots of audiovisual journalism. 1. Photography and newsreels. The roots of audiovisual journalism stretch back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries with the invention of photography and later, newsreels. Newsreels were short films shown in cinemas before the main feature, capturing current events and providing a visual experience of the news. 2. Radio's rise. With the advent of radio in the early 20th century, news took a major leap forward. In the 1920s, news was broadcast live for the first time, making it possible for people to experience breaking news from their own homes. Radio allowed journalists to provide in-depth coverage of events, such as World War II, which was a turning point in radio journalism as listeners worldwide tuned in to get updates on the conflict. Television news, a new era. The birth of television news. In the 1940s and 1950s, television began to compete with radio, introducing a new dimension of visual storytelling. Networks like CBS, NBC, and ABC in the U.S. developed regular newscasts, with anchors delivering reports straight to audiences' living rooms. Iconic moments and coverage. Key historical events, such as the Vietnam War and the Civil Rights Movement, brought a new level of immediacy and visual impact to television news. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963 and the moon landing in 1969 were among the landmark events broadcast live, demonstrating television's power to connect viewers with history in real time. Rise of investigative journalism. With television, a new genre of journalism emerged, investigative reporting. Shows like 60 Minutes specialized in in-depth stories and interviews, cementing TV's role as a medium that could not only report news, but dig deeply into it. Global expansion and the 24-hour news cycle. 1. Cable news and CNN. The launch of CNN in 1980 was a game changer. CNN pioneered the 24-hour news cycle, offering continuous news coverage and creating a model that other networks would eventually adopt. 2. International news networks. The success of CNN led to the creation of other major news networks around the world, including BBC World Service, Al Jazeera, and more. This expanded global perspectives in news coverage, allowing audiences to see and hear about international events directly from reporters on the ground. The digital revolution, a new landscape. Internet news and online video. The early 2000s saw the rise of the internet as a news platform, with traditional media networks launching websites to share video content. Text, audio, and video formats merged to create multimedia news stories that could be accessed on demand. Social media and citizen journalism. Platforms like YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook gave rise to citizen journalism, where individuals could document and share events in real time. For example, major news events like the Arab Spring were captured by individuals on the ground, providing an unfiltered look at these historic moments. Mobile journalism. As smartphones became widespread, news consumption patterns changed. Journalists began using mobile devices to capture video, making news reporting faster and more flexible. Major networks also adapted to mobile formats, creating short, bite-sized video segments optimized for on-the-go viewing. Present day and the future of audiovisual journalism. Streaming and on-demand news. With streaming services and apps, viewers can access news on demand. Networks like BBC, CNN, and newer platforms like Vice News offer real-time and archival footage that viewers can watch anytime, reshaping how people interact with news. Augmented and virtual reality. Emerging technologies like VR in Arkansas are introducing immersive experiences in journalism. News organizations experiment with VR to provide on-the-ground experiences, allowing viewers to feel as if they are present at the scene, enhancing emotional engagement. AI and deepfake challenges. As artificial intelligence becomes more sophisticated, audiovisual journalism faces new challenges, especially with the rise of deepfake videos, which can create realistic but false images and videos. This has led to a renewed focus on ethical standards and verification methods to maintain public trust. Key themes in audiovisual journalism's evolution: speed and immediacy. Audiovisual journalism has increasingly prioritized real-time reporting, from radio to 24-hour TV news to live streaming online. Interactivity. Audiovisual news is no longer a one-way street. Social media enables audiences to participate in news discussions, interact with journalists, and contribute to live stories. Authenticity and trust. The growth of citizen journalism and user-generated content has introduced new authenticity, but also requires rigorous fact-checking to prevent the spread of misinformation. The enduring power of audiovisual journalism. Audiovisual journalism has always been defined by its ability to bring people closer to the stories that shape their world. With continued advancements, it remains a powerful force in shaping how societies perceive and interact with global events.